I'm going to show you how you can make your videos look cinematic with lighting techniques that I used in my entry to the Peter McKinnon 72-hour film challenge. For that short film, I used a Quasar Science LED stick, but these techniques apply to whatever light that you have. The first technique is controlling how soft the light is. Soft light means light with smooth shadows. So instead of there being a defined line between the bright part where the light is shining and the dark part, there's a smooth gradient. This is called a fall off. In a lot of situations, you want the light to be like this because it gives shape to what you're filming. It looks more three-dimensional and it has more depth. Other times you might want a harsh light to cast dramatic shadows. It's completely up to you. So what actually makes a light soft is just how big it is compared to what it's shining on. The bigger the light source relative to what it's shining on, the softer the light will be. This means that you can change the softness of your light without having to use a different light. Moving a light closer makes it softer because the closer the light is, the larger it is relative to that subject. The further back it is, the smaller it is, so the light is more harsh. While I was filming my short film, I thought about using the softness of the light to my advantage. So I put my light close to the things that I was filming so that there would be a smooth fall off. You can also use tools to spread out the light or make it bigger. This is called diffusion. Something like a bed sheet or a shower curtain or a professional softbox makes the light softer. The biggest diffusion you can possibly get are actually clouds. On a cloudy day, light gets spread out across all of the clouds, which makes the light softer. Light can also be made softer by bouncing it off something else. And this is actually what I'm doing right now. I'm bouncing my light off of the wall and then onto this side of my face. If I were to point the light directly at me, the light would look a lot more harsh, like this. So here, there's not a lot of fall off, and the light is also caught onto the background. I prefer this, where the light is bounced off of the white wall and then onto here, filling in the shadow. If you use another light to fill in those shadows, that's called a fill light. The main light that you're using is called a key light. There are other roles that lights can have in a studio setup, so I've made a lighting guide for video that shows you what all of the terms mean and shows you a lot of other helpful information about lighting for videos. Today is Freebie Friday, which is my weekly special where I give you something that I've created or found for free that will help your creations. I made this infographic in order to make lighting less intimidating because I personally have found all the different words and technicalities to be pretty scary, and so I'm hoping to help you out so you can become better at lighting and make your videos look that much better. The second technique is controlling the direction of the light. You have control of this whatever light that you're using. If you're using natural light from the sun, you can just point the camera in a different direction. On many of the shots, I had the light behind the subject pointing at the camera. This is because backlighting is so cinematic. In the epic cooking part of my short film, I backlit the counter but moved the light a little bit up so it wasn't just a silhouette and you could see some of the foreground. The main reason backlighting is more dramatic is because of contrast. So that brings me to the next technique, which is thinking about contrast when you're lighting your shots. Contrast makes us look and focus on one thing in a frame. It could be in terms of how bright something is or the color, but contrast is essentially separation between different parts of the video, which you can control with the lighting. When the light is behind the subject, it creates layers of contrast, and often the light will shine through things, which also adds depth. Probably the most contrast you can get is when you put the light directly behind the subject, which creates that silhouette. I used that in the angle where I turned on the lamp, and you can only see that glow around the switch. You want to be using contrast on purpose to make people look at what you want them to. The last tip is to take advantage of different kinds of light that you can see. This means other sources of light, reflections, lens flares, or anything like that that you can use creatively to make your lighting more interesting. You can use other sources of light like screens to add more interesting light into your video. I did this with the electric kettle button. In the final shot of my short film, I was sitting right next to a TV. I knew that by getting really close to the TV, the light would be bright enough and soft enough, and that the background would be completely dark. I actually did the dolly in or the move forward just by moving my head and not the camera. Another way you can use the light around you is through reflections. I did this with the tea pouring at the beginning. I backlit the shot and intentionally made it so that the rim of the glass was glowing. When you're lighting your videos, paying attention to these little things, the little details, will make a big difference. So these 4 things in lighting you can control, softness, direction, contrast, and other lighting effects around you are all connected, and you can use all of them at once. and lighting can make a massive difference in the quality of your videos. I shot my short film with my little Nikon mirrorless camera that I got in 2014, I think, and I think it's about $300 including the lens, but lighting makes it look almost as good as footage shot with cameras that cost thousands of dollars. Hope you learned something, and remember to check out the free lighting guide infographic in the description, and thank you for watching.